Hi there, I'm Benjamin Harvey and welcome to the 21-day Millionaire Mindset Challenge. Today I want to be sharing with you the strategies used by Olympians all over the world to achieve incredible levels of success with minimal effort. And they do all of this by utilizing the faculty of the imagination. So in order to get the most out of this video, you're going to need to do three things right now. First of all, grab yourself a pen. Second of all, grab yourself a piece of paper. And third of all, grab yourself a glass of water and let's dive straight into the content. So in order to get the most out of your mindset, there are three things that you have to do correctly. The first one is you need to know how to set a goal. I know it sounds quite simple, but you'd be amazed how many people get that wrong. In fact, with working with thousands of people across Australia and certainly around the world, I have found that there are so many people out there that simply don't know how to set a goal. So the first one is you've got to learn how to set the goal. The second one is you need to learn how to craft the script of your imagination, as in what is the film or the movie that you want to place inside your mind when it comes to achieving this outcome. And the third is you've got to actually sit down and do the work. So the first one, set the goal correctly. The second one is create the script. And the third one is actually sit down and do the process. And I'm going to be sharing with you exactly how to do all three of those right now. So let's look at number one, setting the goal correctly. I've only got one principle for setting a goal, and that is specificity. You have to be specific. People always come to me and say, Ben, I want to be happier. Now, you and I both know that people want to be happier. But the fact is, if you tried to sit down and imagine happier, it's almost impossible to do. In fact, we often test rooms full of hundreds of people, and we get them to close their eyes and think of happier, and they find it very difficult to create an image about that. But you may say, well, Ben, I find going to the movies makes me happy. Now that's something we can both quite easily imagine inside our mind. So we have to be very, very specific with our goals. So specificity can involve numbers, it can involve dates, it can involve times, it can involve locations, but I need you to be very specific with the goal that you want to go out there and create using the faculty of your imagination. So in order to set the goal correctly, you might want to say, well, Ben, I want to go to Hawaii, and I want to go to Hawaii in June 2014, and I'd like to sit in Hawaii in one of those hammocks, and I want to look out across the ocean. So we've got June, which is very specific, we've got the year 2014, we've got the hammock, which is specific, and we've got the location, which is Hawaii. That is a clear goal that we can go out now and create quite easily. Yours might be that you want to create a coaching practice, or maybe you want to grow a business or become an entrepreneur, or maybe you just want to be an exquisite parent. I don't know what the goal is for you, but make sure that it's highly specific and take your time with this. The more specific it is, the easier it will be for you to imagine. And if you can't imagine the goal, it's going to be very difficult working out how to go out there and achieve it. In fact, the reason our imagination is so important is because our nervous system cannot tell the difference between what's real and what's being imagined. And so quite often when we want to take action on our goals, we get this thing called resistance move through our body and express itself as procrastination. Now, resistance is the byproduct of fear. And the reason that we fear taking new actions is because nowhere in our mind do we have any reference point of having done that before. So if we sit down and we imagine ourselves taking action after action after action, what happens is our nervous system believes that we've taken that action before. So in fact, imagining that which you want to achieve is a great way of removing fear, which stops resistance, which prevents procrastination altogether. So it's very important to understand that you don't just want to visualize the outcome of your goal, you want to visualize every single action along the way. We have a faculty inside our brain that does what's known as pattern matching. It matches up our internal image of ourselves with our external reality. And the greater that those patterns can match up, the easier we take action and the less resistance we experience. So when you are looking to imagine your goals, you want a complete script that has not just the outcome, but every step you take along the way. So step number one, please write your goal very, very specifically, and you may want to press pause on this video while you jot it down. Now, second thing we need to do is we need to create the script. So what we want to do is write down on a piece of paper a couple of things. The first thing I'd like you to write down is a feeling that you think you will feel or experience when you complete that goal. So think about the goal, thinking about having completed the goal, and just write down one simple feeling. It may just be the feeling of enthusiasm, the feeling of gratitude, the feeling of appreciation, the feeling of being present. Maybe it's the feeling of love. I don't know what the feeling is, but think about you having achieved the goal and go ahead and write down on a piece of paper the feeling that you would like to feel. Next thing you want to do is you want to come up with the types of thoughts that you would have inside your head. So when you achieve that goal, what are some of the thoughts that might be going on through your mind? It might be like success is destined. It might be that I love action. It might be that I'm always making the right decisions. I don't know what sort of thoughts you'd have, but think about yourself having achieved the goal and then tune into the types of thoughts that you would think at that moment. And just take a moment to write down a thought that you might have as a result of achieving that goal. Quite often I like to write down the thought as, I was bound to be successful, or action comes easily, or I love my life, or I do what I love, things like that. So just take a moment, write down a thought. Okay, so now we've got a feeling and now we've got a thought, and the last thing we have to do in this section is write down an I am statement. So what is the new statement that you would like to think about yourself when you actually have achieved this goal? Because when you achieve this thing that you've written down, your identity will take on a greater level of expansion. You will have achieved something more meaningful, you'll have expanded to new parameters, you'll have extended your comfort zone, and therefore you're probably going to start to think differently about who you are. So I'll give you an example. If your goal was to set up a business, you might write down, I am an entrepreneur. Or say that you wanted to become an incredible parent. So the new identity might be, I am an incredible parent. So what I'd like you to do is write down an I am statement now. So now we've got a feeling, a thought, and an I am statement. The next thing we've got to do is we've got to think about 3 actions that we would need to take in order to create the thing that we're looking for. So 3 actions that we would need to take in order to create the thing that we're looking for. Now what I mean by that is if, say, your goal was to go to Hawaii, well, 3 actions that you absolutely would have to take is you would have to book a flight at some point, you would have to find your passport, and you would have to pack your bags. So there are 3 essential actions that would allow you to get to Hawaii: booking the flight, finding your passport, and packing your bags. So just get your goal and break it down into 3 smaller steps that are essential to you achieving the outcome that you seek to achieve. Okay, so now we have a feeling, we have a thought, we have an I am statement, we have 3 small actions, and we have a very specific goal. What you've done right then is you have created a script for you to imagine. See, one of the fundamental flaws in general visualization is that everybody is visualizing the outcome. Now, I know that that is beneficial in and of itself, but one of the things that we need to understand is that our mind needs to be able to see ourselves taking the actions. So the more you can visualize each and every one of the small actions, the more likely you are to remove all the resistance from your system. So when I like to imagine that which I want, I see the entire process from start to finish. From feeling the feelings, having the thoughts, making the decision, as in the I am statement about who I am. Then I see myself taking each and every one of the actions, and then I find myself in the outcome. And in doing so, I create an incredible movie inside my mind. It's almost as though I've got this movie of imagery stuck inside my mind now that I can follow quite easily. And this is what the Olympians do. The Olympians don't imagine winning gold medals. They imagine waking up in the morning. They imagine stretching. They imagine eating the right breakfast. They imagine doing lap after lap after lap in the swimming pool. And then they imagine winning the gold. And this really is the key to getting the most out of your imagination. Now, the third thing is to actually do the process. When I go and create this movie inside my mind, I like to imagine it in 3 different ways. I like to do it first looking through my own eyes, which is known as associated viewing. Then I like to see myself doing it, which is known as disassociated viewing. And then I like to imagine a mentor or someone that I look to for great strategic advice, and I like to watch them doing the process as well. And by doing this 3 different ways, I really do set up a belief inside my mind that this is highly achievable and that I certainly can create this thing in my life. You see, at the end of the day, our imagination allows us to entertain new possibilities. It allows us to stretch our comfort zone and allows us to achieve ever greater levels of success. And by seeing myself and my mentors doing these goals effortlessly inside my mind really does reinforce the belief that anything that I'd like to achieve is in fact possible. All I have to do now is simply close my eyes and then go through the script. So imagine that I find myself sitting at home on a chair comfortably. I close my eyes and then I simply imagine myself beginning to feel the feeling of having created that goal. Then I hear the thoughts inside my head of what I'm thinking about having achieved that goal. And then I say to myself the I am statement. Once I've done that, I begin to take each and every one of the actions, one after another after another. Then I allow myself to see myself sitting in the outcome, living in the moment of the wish fulfilled, having completely achieved that outcome. Once I've done it once, looking through my own eyes, I come back to the beginning and I see myself do all those things. So I see myself feel the feelings, I see myself start having the thoughts, I see myself making the new I am statement, and then I see myself taking action after action after action. And then I see myself once again sitting inside the outcome. Last time I bring myself back and I observe my mentor feeling the feelings, having the thoughts, making the internal I am statement, doing each and every action, and then sitting inside the outcome. Once I've seen it and observed it and done the process 3 times, I like to then just sit inside the outcome and bask in the feeling of knowing that I've created this thing in my life. Now, this process is a very simple process to achieve. As I said, all you have to do is go through the 3 steps. First of all, set your goals specifically. Second of all, craft out a script by writing down the feelings, the thoughts, the I am statement, and 3 little actions that will allow you to get to that outcome. And third of all, sit down comfortably, close your eyes, and just create this movie inside your mind, starting at point A and going all the way to point B where you have created the thing you're after. There's no real trick to imagining, and everybody imagines differently. I often get questions like, Ben, I close my eyes and I see nothing at all. It's just complete darkness. Don't be concerned. Everybody uses their imagination differently. Some people see vivid imagery. Some people just sense that they're there. Some people hear the entire thing taking place, and some people just feel that it's actually occurring. So my advice is honor how you imagine. If you're not a visual person, don't worry about seeing imagery. Just allow yourself to utilize your imagination the way that you like to use it. So honor your own truth with that one. If you do have any questions, please send me an email. I'll be happy to answer them. But get out there, start using your imagination to the best of your ability, and certainly allow yourself to move beyond fear by setting up imagery inside your mind, movies that convince your nervous system that you have in fact already created the thing you desire most. Until we meet again, share your light, live your love, share these ideas with your friends, share this video with your friends, and until we meet again, do whatever it takes to be your own best friend. I'll see you soon.